channel or welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy, sometimes Mouse, and I talk about books and book-related things. And today I am giving you my August TBR. It is wild that we are already in August. This month is a lot of like series continuations or authors I've read before and picking them back up, or books that I've had sitting in my Kindle Unlimited that I haven't read and I would like to read because I'd like to cancel my Kindle Unlimited. So here we are. I also want to start actually reading for Rainbow Crate, and so I needed to kind of knock out some of these series and things before I make commitments that I can't commit to, so here we are. I'm gonna go ahead and get started because this first one I'm pretty excited about. That is gonna be an advanced reader copy of The Feastmakers by H.A. Clarke. This is the third Scapegracers book, and I think it is the final Scapegracers book. I am also likely to reread the first two Scapegracers book before reading Feastmakers. If you don't know what Scapegracers is about, it's kind of feral teen witches. They're queer and they are brutal and they're mean and not mean and very teenage girl energy in the way that not everyone seems to be able to capture. And I think that H.A. Clarke did a really good job of catching those things. I believe that he goes by August now. I think that they have done a really great job of capturing those really specific feelings, and so I'm excited to reread the books in kind of the perspective of my now adulthood, because when I first started reading them I feel like I was still very into young adult, and now I've kind of aged out of it, and I will be interested to reread the books and kind of go from there. And I'm just interested to see how the series kind of comes to a conclusion here, so that's exciting. Next up we have my series continuations. We have the book October Day books 12 and 13, which is Night and Silence and The Unkindest Tide. I will also be reading all of the short stories in between and after those two books. I'm currently, as of filming this, on the 11th book in the October Day series. There is 17 of them total, and I think by the time that I finish all 17 there will be 18 total. And I also think that I'm about to reach the limit of what my library actually has physically, so that's a little bit like, but it's okay. I am loving the October Day series, and I am loving reading a lot of Shannon's writing. I feel like I'm just reading an obscene amount of Shannon's writing, and we will get into a little bit more of that in a bit. Then I will be reading Mort by Terry Pratchett. This is the next Discworld book. I've been sort of slowly meandering my way through the Discworld books. I read them a lot as a kid, which I'm kind of questioning now as an adult. I mean, they're fantastic books, but I'm like, they weren't inappropriate, but they did cover some topics that I definitely would not have understood as a child. Mort is specifically about Death's apprentice. If you don't know, in Discworld, Death is very much like this entity, a character with backstory. He's got a whole thing. And Mort is Death's apprentice, like I said. He gets free board and lodging, he gets a company horse, da-da-da-da-da. But he, I believe, finds himself romantically involved with Death's daughter. She's not a child, but so we'll see how that goes. I don't remember how all of it happens in this book. It's been years since I read it, but either way, I do know that Death is one of my favorite characters in the Discworld books, so I'm really excited about getting to read it. I think it'll be funny, honestly. Then we have what I'm going to be reading for my next 24-hour reads in a week session. And that is going to be The Last Hours trilogy by Cassandra Clare, because I do finally have Chain of Thorns. I had to get the Fairy Loot special edition. I don't generally buy special editions anymore, but if I already have the book in the special editions, then I'm gonna want the next special edition book because it has to be consistent. It's important to me. Shadowhunters is kind of my guilty pleasure reads. I try not to talk too much about them. I've read all of them, except for the Alec and Magnus books. I don't really enjoy that dynamic. It makes me feel weird because of their age difference. I know. But it's just not one of my favorites, so I don't really read that set of books, but I am currently reading these. So I will be rereading the first two books and then reading the third book. I do think it's the final book. It is The Last Hours trilogy, I'm pretty sure is what it says, is what it's called. So I'm pretty thrilled to read it. I think that the contrasting colors here is kind of fun. And this is the first one that has one of the actual Shadowhunters symbols on the edging, which is kind of interesting and suspicious. If you don't know about these books, they're set sort of between the Infernal Devices and the Mortal Instruments. So Tess and, not Jem, and Matthew, I think, their child. It is about their child and his teen friends and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's set between those two. That historically, that's where it's set. I like the Infernal Devices. It's definitely one of my all-time favorite trilogies. The Dark Artifices is my favorite in the series, and then after that would be the Infernal Devices. And I would have to say the Last Hours definitely is somewhere between the two in my favorites, and so that's fun. I don't like the Mortal Instruments at all. I don't even own them. Art sent me a link the other day of the there's like I think Very Lewd is coming out with a special edition reprint of them, and I don't want it because I don't own those books and I don't like those books. I actually hate the original 7-book set or whatever it is. Next up, we have my Standalones or series starts. And we have a new DFZ book series by Rachel Aaron. If you don't know, I fucking love the Detroit Free Zone books from Rachel Aaron. These books, I think some of them are on Kindle Unlimited. There's 2 series that already exist in full completion. Minimum Wage Magic and the Heartstrikers series, I think is what it's called. They're both fantastic. Minimum Wage Magic is absolutely one of my favorites though, and Rachel Aaron has started a new series, and the first book is by a silver thread, and I started listening to it a little bit on my way to Georgia and Alabama on my road trip, but then I stopped because I was like, no, I really need to like sit down and listen to this with like my full attention. So I'm really excited about it because this one involves the Fae. Now, DFZ is definitely an urban fantasy that like pulls in a lot of like deities and fantasy elements into a city structure, which is very cool, but they've never really mentioned the Fae before, so it'll be interesting to see how that ties in. The way that the magic works in DFZ, it makes sense that the Fae can exist, but it's not been done yet, and so I'm interested to see how Rachel kind of pulls all of that in. Like I said, I really have enjoyed the other series in this world, and I don't think you have to read all of them, any of them, to pick this book up. However, I mean, I would recommend it because I enjoyed them, but not necessary. Then we have another Shawnee Maguire series, Indexing by Shawnee Maguire. Now, I've had this on my Kindle Unlimited. It's even on Audible. I've had it for a little while because I needed something to read to go to sleep, but if I pick this up while I'm trying to sleep, I end up not sleeping, so I don't. Essentially, fairy tales sort of try to exist in our real world to completion, and they just like take people who have sort of the same backstories. So imagine like Cinderella, her mom passes away, her dad remarries, and the stepmother has 2 daughters. That's something that happens in real life all the time, right? Like that part is not unusual, so a fairy tale narrative will essentially take that person and twist it so that they then follow a fairy tale narrative to its completion. There is the ATI Management Bureau, I don't know how to say that word apparently. Bureau, that's how you say that word. The ATI Management Bureau, whose job is essentially to keep that from happening because it can end in many lives ending. And this story follows one main character whose name I can't think of right now, but she is essentially a Snow White that didn't go to completion, and she also works with someone who was supposed to be an evil stepsister who didn't go to completion, and the dynamic there is really interesting from what I've read so far, and I'm really excited to actually like dig into this series and start reading it, and maybe even listening to it, probably reading it with my eyes predominantly though, but I'm really excited to start digging into that. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Next up, we have something that's been recommended to me a bajillion times and I simply have not read it, and I'm sorry. And that's going to be A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking by T. Kingfisher. Now, I've read T. Kingfisher's horror a lot, and so this is kind of an interesting shift in energy here. 14-year-old Mona isn't like the wizards charged with defending the city. She can't control lightning or speak to water. Her familiar is a sourdough starter and her magic only works on bread. She has a comfortable life in her aunt's bakery making gingerbread men dance, but Mona's life is turned upside down and she finds a dead body on the bakery floor. An assassin is stalking the streets of Mona's city and preying on magic folk, and it appears that Mona is his next target. And in an embattled city suddenly bereft of wizards, the assassin may be the least of Mona's worries. I don't know, it just seems fun, especially in comparison to T. Kingfisher's other books. I think that it'll be a fun time. And next we have Ghost Eaters by Clay McLeod Chapman. Erin hasn't been able to set a single boundary with her charismatic but reckless college ex-boyfriend Silas. When he asks her to bail him out of rehab again, she knows she needs to cut him off. But days after he gets out, Silas turns up dead of an overdose in their hometown of Richmond, Virginia, and Erin's world falls apart. Then a friend tells her about Ghost, a new drug that allows users to see the dead. Want to get haunted? He asks. Okay, the answer to that is no. I just want you guys to know that if anybody ever asks you that, the answer is no. No, you don't. Grieving and desperate for closure with Silas, Erin agrees to a pill-popping seance. But the drug has unfathomable side effects, and once you take it, you can never go back. See, that also just means, like, don't. Just don't do it, you know? And last but not least, we have The Lost Dreamer by Liz Huerta. Indir is a dreamer, descended from a long line of seers. Able to see beyond reality, she carries the rare gift of dreaming truth. But when the beloved king dies, his son has no respect for this time-honored tradition. King Alkin wants an opportunity to bring the dreamers to a permanent end, an opportunity Indir will give him if he discovers the two secrets she's struggling to keep. Saya is a seer, but not a dreamer. She has never been formally trained. Her mother exploits her daughter's gift, passing it off as her own as they travel from village to village, never staying in one place too long. When Saya loses the necklace she's worn since birth, she discovers that seeing isn't her only gift, and she begins to suspect that everything she knows about her life has been a carefully constructed lie. As she comes to distrust the only family she's ever known, Saya will do what she's never done before, go where she's never been, and risk it all in search of answers. This is a young adult book that I'm kind of interested in. Now, is this plotline kind of common in young adult fantasy? Yes, but I'm still kind of excited about it. I think it'll be interesting, and it's been on my library TBR for a really long time. And as you guys know, I'm pretty frequently trying to get that list down. Am I ever successfully doing it? No, but am I trying still? Yeah. Anyway, so that's the whole TBR. It's not too many books, but a lot of books that I'm really excited about and have really high expectations for, which is never a good thing and will probably end badly, but here we are anyway. I'm also really excited to do another 24 hours within 1 week reading session. I don't even know, that video for Hunger Games comes out tomorrow as of my recording this video, and so will that video do well? I don't know, but regardless, I don't know. I had a lot of fun filming the Hunger Games one, and I think I'll have a lot of fun doing the Cassandra Clare one, so here we are. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these books, or if you're interested in any of the books, like from authors that I've clearly read before, Terry Pratchett, Rachel Aaron, Shauna McGuire. Let me know in the comments down below if you've ever thought about reading any of these series, or if you have any questions. I would love to answer them or talk about books with you. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and share. If you did not like this video, I'm sorry, and let me know how I can make it better for you. I post videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, unless I'm taking a break, and so I will see you guys later. Don't forget to take your meds, drink your water, and do something today, and take care of yourselves, as always. Okay, thanks, bye.